The large meeting room on the space station fell silent as Ambassador Taeho Kim walked in. But it wasn't Taeho who caught everyone's attention. It was the four-legged animal walking beside him. "What is that creature?" asked one of the alien representatives, pointing a long blue finger at the German shepherd. Taeho smiled. "This is Dengi. She is my dog." The room filled with strange sounds as the aliens spoke in their own languages. Some clicked, some hummed, and others made whistling noises. Their translators worked quickly. "You brought an animal to a diplomatic meeting?" asked Commander Subin of the Orion fleet. She was tall, with 4 arms and skin that shimmered like the night sky. Her eyes narrowed as she studied Dengi. "Dengi is not just an animal, she is my companion," Taeho explained. He straightened his formal Earth uniform and took his seat at the large round table. Dengi sat calmly at his feet. This was a big day for Earth. After humans discovered faster-than-light travel 10 years ago, they had been trying to join the Galactic Council. Today was their first official meeting. The head of the council, Director Yoon, tapped a glowing orb in the center of the table. "Let us begin. We welcome the humans of Earth to this council meeting." As Taeho began his prepared speech about Earth's desire to join the galactic community, he noticed many of the aliens were still staring at Dengi. Some looked confused, others seemed disgusted. When he finished speaking, the questions began. "Your technology is quite primitive compared to most council members," said a reptilian alien named Han. "What can Earth offer us?" Taeho had expected this question. "We may be new to space travel, but humans are creative problem solvers. We also have unique art, music, and culture to share, and we learn quickly." Most of the aliens nodded, but Han wasn't finished. "And what about that animal? Why is it here?" He pointed at Dengi, who was still sitting quietly. "As I said, she is my companion. Dogs have been with humans for thousands of years. They help us in many ways." Commander Subin leaned forward. "You mean to tell me that you feed this creature, clean its waste, and provide it shelter? And in return it does nothing of value?" The room filled with alien laughter. Some made hooting sounds, others clicked rapidly. Taeho remained calm. He had been warned that most advanced species in the galaxy had moved beyond keeping pets. To them it seemed primitive and strange. Dengi provides companionship, loyalty, and joy. Those are valuable to humans, Taeho said. "Emotional attachment to a lesser species seems inefficient," said another alien with metallic skin. Taeho nodded to Min, his assistant, who stepped forward with a small device. "Perhaps a demonstration would help you understand." Min pressed. A button on the device and a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed scenes from Earth history, humans and dogs hunting together, dogs guiding blind people, finding people lost in snow, dogs comforting sick children in hospitals, and protecting homes. Dogs have helped humans survive and thrive for over 15,000 years, Taeho explained. "We evolved together. They can understand human emotions and commands better than any other animal. Some can smell diseases in humans before doctors can detect them. Others can find people buried under buildings after earthquakes. The aliens watch the images with more interest now. But you have machines that can do all those things now," said Director Yoon. "Yes, but machines don't love you back," Taeho said simply. This caused more confused murmuring among the aliens. Commander Subin stood up and walked around the table. She stopped near Taeho and looked down at Dengi. "May I?" she asked, extending one of her 4 hands. "Of course. Dengi, say hello," Taeho said. Dengi stood up and offered her paw to Subin. The alien commander looked surprised but carefully took the dog's paw in her hand. "This is a greeting?" she asked. "Yes. A handshake is a friendly gesture among humans." Dengi was trained to offer her paw as a sign of friendship. Subin seemed fascinated by this. "And it understands your language." "She understands many words and commands. Dogs are very intelligent in their own way." To demonstrate, Taeho gave Dengi a series of commands. Sit, down, roll over, stand, speak. Dengi performed each action perfectly, ending with a single, clear bark. Some of the aliens jumped at the sound, but others leaned in with interest. Impressive training, Director Yoon admitted. But still, bringing an animal to a diplomatic function seems unusual. Taeho nodded. I understand your concern, but on Earth many important people have dogs with them. Some Earth leaders even bring their dogs to government meetings. It helps create a peaceful atmosphere. Han, the reptilian alien, still looked disgusted. And you clean up after this creature? Yes, just as parents clean up after their children when they are young, Taeho said. It is not difficult. You compare this animal to your offspring? Han asked, clearly shocked. For many humans, pets are part of the family, Taeho explained. Not the same as children, but important members of the household. The meeting continued for several hours. They discussed trade agreements, technology sharing, and Earth's provisional status in the Council. Throughout it all, Dengi remained calm and quiet at Taeho's feet. As the meeting ended, several aliens approached Taeho, curious to learn more about dogs. Commander Subin seemed especially interested. This bond you have with this creature, it is something we don't have in our culture, she admitted. Most species in the galaxy domesticated animals in their early development, but abandoned the practice as they advanced. Perhaps that's where we differ, Taeho suggested. Humans don't see technological advancement and emotional bonds as opposites. We value both. Subin clicked her mandibles in what Taeho had learned was thoughtful consideration. I look forward, to learning more about humans and their companions, she said finally. You are different from other species we have encountered. As Taeho and Dengi left the meeting room, he could feel the curious eyes of the aliens following them. They had not made the impression he had hoped for today. The Council still saw humans as primitive and strange for their attachment to animals. But that was just their first meeting. They had time to change minds. What the aliens didn't understand was that the bond between humans and dogs went much deeper than they could imagine. And sometimes, that bond was stronger than any technology in the galaxy. They would learn this soon enough. 3 months had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council as a provisional member. Things were going better than expected. Many aliens were still confused by humans and their ways, but they were starting to accept them. Taeho and Dengi had become well-known figures on Harmony Station, the neutral space platform where most diplomatic meetings took place. Some aliens still avoided the dog, but others had become curious. A few even asked to pet her. Today was an important day. The station was hosting a large diplomatic function with representatives from 27 different worlds. Among them were the Vorn, a warrior race known for their hot tempers and recent history of aggression. They had only joined the Council last year after signing peace treaties. Are you sure bringing Dengi is a good idea? Asked Jin Woo, the head of Earth's security team. He adjusted his uniform as they walked toward the meeting hall. The Vorn are unpredictable. Taeho nodded. She helps ease tensions. Everyone loves dogs even if they don't know it yet. Jin Woo didn't look convinced, but he knew better than to argue with the ambassador. The meeting hall was massive, with high ceilings and windows that showed the stars outside. Tables with food and drinks from different worlds lined the walls. Aliens of all shapes and sizes mingled in the center of the room. Ambassador Kim, welcome, said Director Yoon, approaching with Commander Subin beside him. I see your companion is with you again. Dengi is always welcome at council functions, Subin added. Over the past months, she had become something of an ally to Earth. She found humans interesting, especially their relationship with dogs. Thank you, Taeho said with a small bow. We are honored to be here. As they spoke, Taeho spotted Ambassador Kwan, another human representative talking with a group of Vorn across the room. Kwan was new to space diplomacy. This was his first major function. Excuse me, Taeho said to Director Yoon. I should check on my colleague. He made his way across the room with Dengi following closely at his heel. As he got closer, he could tell the conversation between Kwan and the Vorn was tense. The Tau Ceti system has always been open territory, Kwan was saying. Earth is simply interested in establishing a research station there. The largest Vorn, wearing armor with markings that showed high rank, leaned forward. The Vorn Dominion has hunting grounds in that system. We were there long before humans learned to leave their planet. Commander Drav, Teho said smoothly, joining the conversation. It's good to see the Vorn represented here today. Drav turned his attention to Teho. The Vorn were large reptilian beings with thick scales and sharp teeth. Their eyes were yellow with narrow pupils. Ambassador Kim, Drav said, his voice deep and rumbling. Perhaps you can explain to your colleague that humans cannot simply claim any star system they wish. No one is claiming anything, Teho said calmly. We're only discussing possibilities for peaceful cooperation. Drav snorted, a sound that made his nostrils flare. Then his eyes fell on Dengi, who was sitting quietly beside Teho. You still bring that creature to diplomatic functions, he said with disgust. In Vorn culture, keeping lesser beings as companions is seen as weakness. Different cultures have different views, Teho replied. In human culture, forming bonds with animals shows our capacity for care and responsibility. Responsibility, Drav repeated as if the word tasted bad. The Vorn believe in strength, the strong lead, the weak follow. Quan, perhaps feeling bold, spoke up. And yet the Vorn signed peace treaties with the Council. Some might see that as weakness. The room grew quieter. Nearby aliens turned to watch. Teho winced internally. Quan was new to this, but questioning a Vorn's strength was never wise. Drav's scales darkened, a sign of anger. Watch your words, human. Treaties are strategic. The Vorn are never weak. Teho tried to smooth things over. Ambassador Quan meant no disrespect. Joining the council was a wise decision for all parties. But Quan wasn't backing down. If the Vorn are so concerned about Tau Ceti, perhaps they fear competition. Earth's scientists might discover something your hunters missed. Drav's hand moved to his belt, where a ceremonial blade hung. It was meant to be decorative at diplomatic functions, but Vorn weapons were always sharp. Humans know nothing of what lies in Tau Ceti, Drav growled. Your species is young and ignorant. Teho placed a hand on Quan's arm, trying to signal him to stop, but the damage was done. Young, yes, Quan said, but we advanced faster than any species in council records. Perhaps that's what worries you. With a roar, Drav shoved Quan hard. The human diplomat stumbled backward, knocking into a table and falling to the floor. The room erupted in gasps and shouts. Jin Wu and his security team started moving toward them, but they were across the room. Drav advanced on the fallen human, his hand now gripping the handle of his blade. You will learn respect, he snarled. Teho stepped forward. Commander Drav, this is a diplomatic function, there's no need for... But Drav was beyond words now. The Vorn were known for their quick tempers and aggressive responses to perceived insults. He pushed past Teho, moving toward Quan with clear intent to harm. Teho knew he had seconds to act. The security teams wouldn't reach them in time. Director Yoon was calling for order, but his voice was lost in the commotion. Dengi was watching everything. Her eyes were fixed on Drav, her body tense but still waiting for a command. Teho made a quick decision. He whistled once, a sharp, clear sound that was almost lost in the noise of the room, almost but not to Dengi's ears. The German Shepherd's training kicked in instantly. She had been specially selected from Earth's diplomatic protection program, trained to respond to specific threats while ignoring normal diplomatic tensions. The whistle was a command. Protect. Dengi moved like lightning, faster than anyone expected. She darted forward, a blur of black and tan fur racing across the polished floor. Before anyone realized what was happening, she launched herself at Drav. The Vorn commander turned just in time to see 80 pounds of focused muscle and determination flying toward him. Dengi hit him squarely in the chest, knocking him backward and away from Quan. Drav fell hard with Dengi standing over him, her teeth bared just inches from his throat. She didn't bite, but the message was clear. Move, and that would change. The entire hall went silent. Every alien, from the smallest to the largest, stared in shock. The pet they had dismissed as a useless accessory had just taken down one of the most feared warriors in the galaxy. Dengi, hold, Teho said calmly, walking forward. The dog didn't move a muscle. Her eyes remained fixed on Drav, who lay, perfectly still, looking up at the teeth hovering above his throat. Jinwoo and his team arrived, along with Director Yoon and several council security officers. "I believe," Taeho said as he helped Ambassador Kwan to his feet, "that we should all take a moment to cool down. Wouldn't you agree, Commander Drav?" The Vorn commander, still staring at the dog above him, managed a small nod. "Dengi, release!" Taeho commanded. Immediately, the dog backed away, returning to Taeho's side. She stood alert but calm, as if nothing unusual had happened. The aliens stared in amazement. Subin stepped forward, her forearms spread in a gesture of peace. "The creature, it protected you," she said, looking at Dengi with new eyes. "It understood the threat and acted to stop it." "Of course," Taeho replied, placing a hand on Dengi's head. "That's what companions do." As council security escorted Drav and his delegation away, the whispers began. The aliens were seeing humans, and their dogs, in a completely new light. And this was just the beginning. News of what happened at the diplomatic function spread quickly through Harmony Station. Within hours, everyone had heard about how a human pet had taken down Commander Drav of the Vorn. The story grew with each telling. Taeho sat in his office, reading reports on his tablet. The incident had caused quite a stir in the Galactic Council. Some members were concerned about having animals at diplomatic functions. Others were suddenly very interested in Earth's dogs. Dengi lay on a cushion in the corner, sleeping peacefully. As if nothing unusual had happened, there was a chime at the door. "Enter," Taeho called. The door slid open and Director Yoon walked in with Commander Subin. "Ambassador Kim," Director Yoon said formally. "We need to discuss yesterday's incident." Taeho nodded and gestured for them to sit. "Of course. I hope Ambassador Kwan is well?" "He is fine, just a few bruises," Yoon said. "Commander Drav, however, is demanding consequences." "I'm not surprised," Taeho said. "What does he want?" Subin spoke up. "He wants your dog removed from the station. He claims it is a dangerous weapon disguised as a pet." At the sound of Subin's voice, Dengi woke up. She lifted her head and looked at the visitors with calm, intelligent eyes. "Dengi is not a weapon," Taeho said firmly. "She is a trained companion who responded to a clear threat." Commander Drav was about to draw his blade on Ambassador Kwan. Director Yoon looked uncomfortable. "The Vorn delegation denies this. They say he was merely adjusting his ceremonial knife, not drawing it." "The security recordings will show the truth," Taeho said. "We have reviewed them," Subin said. "They are open to interpretation. But what is clear is that your dog moved with purpose and precision. This was not the random action of a frightened animal." Taeho nodded. "Daengi is trained in protection. All diplomatic dogs from Earth undergo special training." "This is what concerns the Council," Yoon said. "Many members now see these animals as hidden security forces. They question why Earth did not disclose this." "We did not hide anything," Taeho replied. "In my first presentation, I showed historical footage of dogs working with humans, including as protectors. No one asked for more details." Subin clicked her mandibles thoughtfully. "That is true. We dismissed the animals as primitive attachments. We did not consider their practical value." The door chimed again. "Enter," Taeho called. Jinwoo stepped in. "Sir, there's a growing crowd outside your office. Representatives from 12 different species are requesting meetings about Earth's dogs." Taeho raised his eyebrows in surprise. 12 species? Jinwoo nodded. "They all want to learn more, especially after what happened with Commander Drav." Director Yoon did not look pleased. "This is creating a diplomatic situation. The balance of power in the Council is delicate. If Earth is seen as having hidden capabilities—" "With respect, Director," Taeho interrupted, "there is nothing hidden about Dengi or any Earth dog. We love them as companions first. Their protective abilities are secondary." Subin had been watching Dengi with interest. "May I?" she asked, pointing to the dog. "Of course," Taeho said. "Dengi, greet." Dengi stood up and walked over to Subin. The four-armed alien carefully reached out and stroked the dog's head. The creature seems quite gentle now, Subin observed. Yet yesterday it was fierce. Teho corrected gently. And yes, that's one of the remarkable things about dogs. They can distinguish between normal situations and threats. They are protective when needed and friendly when appropriate. Subin seemed fascinated. Our species once had animals that assisted us long ago, but we replaced them with technology as we advanced. Perhaps that was a mistake. Director Yoon cleared his throat. The council will meet in 2 hours to discuss this matter. Ambassador Kim, you are requested to attend with Dengi. After they left, Taeho knelt beside Dengi. Well, girl, it seems you've caused quite a stir in galactic politics. Dengi wagged her tail. 2 hours later, Taeho and Dengi entered the main council chamber. It was a large, circular room with seats arranged in rising tiers. Representatives from all 53 member species were present, far more than usually attended routine meetings. Director Yoon sat at the center with the High Council members. Commander Drav and the Vorn delegation sat on one side, looking angry. Ambassador Kwan sat with the other human representatives, sporting a bruise on his cheek. This special session will now begin, Director Yoon announced. We are here to discuss the incident at yesterday's diplomatic function and its implications. Commander Drav rose immediately. The humans have brought dangerous animals into our midst without full disclosure. This is a breach of trust, murmurs spread through the chamber. Ambassador Kim, your response? Director Yoon asked. Taeho stood, Dengi at his side. Members of the council, there has been no deception. Dogs have been human companions for thousands of years. Their abilities are not secret. They are loyal, intelligent, and yes, protective when necessary. The animal attacked me without provocation, Drav growled. The security recordings show you advancing on Ambassador Kwan after pushing him to the ground. Taeho replied calmly. Your hand was on your weapon. Dengi responded to a direct threat to a human. And how did it know to attack? Asked a small green alien from the upper tier. I gave her a command, Taeho explained. A specific whistle that signals her to protect. She is trained to respond to certain sounds and words. So the animal only acts on your orders? Asked another representative. Yes and no, Taeho said. Dogs follow commands, but they also make judgments. A well-trained dog like Dengi can assess situations and respond appropriately. Commander Subin rose from her seat. If I may, I have spent time observing this animal. What humans have with their dogs is not just ownership, it is a partnership. The dogs are not slaves or weapons. They are willing participants in a relationship that benefits both species. This caused more discussion among the council members. Would you be willing to demonstrate more of these capabilities? Director Yoon asked. Taeho nodded. Of course. For the next 20 minutes, Taeho and Dengi demonstrated various commands and abilities. The dog responded perfectly to verbal commands, hand signals, and even whispered instructions. She showed how she could find hidden objects by smell, indicate when someone was carrying a weapon, and distinguish between a friendly approach and a threatening one. The council members watched with growing interest. Even some of the Vorn seemed impressed, though Drav continued to scowl. This is all very interesting, Director Yoon said when the demonstration ended. But it still leaves us with questions about security protocols. If I may suggest, Taeho said, perhaps Earth could offer a full briefing on our relationship with dogs, including their training and capabilities. We have nothing to hide. In fact, we would be proud to share this aspect of our culture with the council. Director Yoon consulted quietly with the other High Council members before responding. The council accepts your offer. We will arrange a formal presentation for all interested members. As the meeting concluded, many representatives approached Taeho with questions. Several asked if they could pet Dengi, who accepted the attention. With calm dignity, Commander Subin was the last to approach. You have changed many minds today, Ambassador Kim, including mine. How so? Taeho asked. I believed, as many did, that moving beyond animal companions was a sign of advancement. Now I see it differently. There is wisdom in maintaining bonds with other species. Tejo smiled. The relationship between humans and dogs has shaped both species over thousands of years. We have evolved together. Subin looked thoughtful. Perhaps true advancement isn't about replacing natural connections with technology, but finding ways for both to exist together. As they walked back to the Earth section of the station, Jinwoo fell into step beside Tejo. That went better than expected, he said quietly. Yes, Tejo agreed. But this is just the beginning. The Vorn won't forget this easily. No, Jinwoo said. But neither will anyone else. Everyone on the station is talking about Dengi now. Tejo looked down at his faithful companion, walking calmly beside him. Good. It's time they understood that there's more to Earth's relationships with dogs than they thought. What had started as a diplomatic incident was becoming something more, a chance for humans to show the galaxy the true meaning of partnership between species. A week after the incident with Commander Drav, Harmony Station was buzzing with activity. Earth had sent 6 more handlers with their trained dogs to give demonstrations to interested council members. The large training room near the Earth section was now the most visited area on the station. Tejo stood at the back of the room, watching as Officer Lee put his border collie, Miso, through a series of exercises. Representatives from 15 different species watched in amazement as the EAO dog navigated an obstacle course, found hidden objects, and responded to commands given in whispers. Impressive, said Commander Subin, who had appeared beside Tejo. Your species and these animals have developed quite a partnership. It took thousands of years, Tejo replied. Dogs were wolves once, wild predators. Over time, we shaped each other. Subin clicked her mandibles thoughtfully. I've been researching your planet's history. Your people and these dogs have hunted together, fought in wars together, explored new lands together, and provided comfort during peace, Tejo added. The relationship goes beyond utility, Commander. We've evolved side by side. Across the room, a small green alien reached out nervously to pet Miso. The dog sat patiently, tail wagging as 3-fingered hands touched her fur for the first time. The council meeting yesterday was quite heated, Subin said. Many members are reconsidering their view of Earth now. The day before, the full Galactic Council had met to discuss Earth's position after the incident. Some species, led by the Vorn, had argued that Earth was hiding military capabilities. Others had defended humans, saying they had been open about their relationship with dogs from the beginning. And what is your view, Commander? Tejo asked. Subin's forearms made a gesture that Tejo had learned meant careful consideration. I believe we were too quick to dismiss something we did not understand. The bond between your species is more complex than we realized. A chime sounded, signaling the end of the demonstration. The aliens filed out slowly, many stopping to ask questions or request to touch the dogs. Officer Lee answered patiently, explaining how border collies were bred to herd sheep and how their intelligence made them excellent working partners. Ambassador Kim called a voice from the doorway. It was Jinwoo. Director Yoon requests your presence in his office immediately. Tejo excused himself and followed Jinwoo through the station corridors. Dengi trotted beside them, alert but relaxed. Do you know what this is about? Tejo asked. Jinwoo nodded. The vote on Earth's status in the council. It was moved, up after yesterday's meeting. Tejo frowned. Earth had been granted provisional membership with limited voting rights. Full membership was supposed to be decided after a year of observation. It had only been 3 months. Director Yoon's office was located in the central hub of the station. The door slid open as they approached, revealing the director and 4 other High Council members waiting inside. Ambassador Kim, Director Yoon, said formally, "Thank you for coming quickly." Tejo bowed slightly. "How may I assist the council today?" Director Yoon gestured to a seat. "The council has been discussing Earth's position in light of recent events. Some members believe we underestimated your species, And others believe we are dangerous because we have dogs? Taeho asked directly. A tall, thin alien with glowing skin nodded. The Vorn have raised concerns about hidden military applications. There is nothing hidden about Earth's relationship with dogs, Taeho said firmly. We have shared all information requested. Yes, agreed another council member, one with multiple eyes arranged in a circle around its head. The humans have been transparent, and their demonstrations this past week have been enlightening. Director Yoon held up a hand for silence. The question before us is not about deception, but about understanding. Many council species abandoned their relationships with other animals as they developed technology. We assumed this was the natural path of advancement. But it is not the only path, said the multi-eyed alien. The humans have shown us another way. Subin, who had followed them to the meeting, spoke up. I have reviewed the historical data. Human advancement accelerated after they formed strong bonds with dogs. The partnership improved their hunting, security, and social structures. Director Yoon nodded. This is why we have called you here, Ambassador Kim. The Council wishes to establish a formal study of interspecies cooperation, with Earth taking a leading role. Taeho was surprised. This was unexpected and potentially very positive for Earth's standing in the galactic community. We would be honored, he said. What exactly does the Council have in mind? An interspecies cooperation initiative, explained Director Yoon, a program to study how different species can work together for mutual benefit, starting with humans and dogs as the primary example. Several council members have expressed interest in bringing animal species from their own worlds to study potential. Partnerships, added Subin. Taeho thought about this. It was a major opportunity for Earth to contribute to galactic knowledge. We would gladly share our expertise, but I should note that the relationship between humans and dogs took thousands of years to develop, which is why we must begin now, said Director Yoon. The galaxy faces many challenges that might be better addressed through cooperation between different forms of intelligence. I will need to consult with Earth's government, Taeho said. But I believe they will support this initiative enthusiastically. Director Yoon seemed pleased. Excellent. We will announce the initiative at tomorrow's general session. As they left the meeting, Jinwoo looked impressed. From being laughed at for having pets to leading a galactic initiative. That's quite a change in 3 months. Taeho smiled. Sometimes understanding comes from unexpected places. The next day, representatives from all member species gathered in the main council chamber. The room was packed, with many standing in the back. Word had spread about an important announcement. Director Yoon took the central podium with the high council members arranged behind him. Taeho and the other Earth representatives sat in their designated section, dogs at their feet. Fellow members of the Galactic Council, Director Yoon began. Today marks an important step in our collective development. Recent events have shown us that true advancement is not always about replacing natural bonds with technology, but sometimes about strengthening those bonds. He went on to explain the new Interspecies Cooperation Initiative, with Earth as a founding member. The announcement was met with applause from most sections of the chamber. Even the Vorn delegation, minus Commander Drav, who was noticeably absent, seemed grudgingly accepting. After the session, many representatives approached Taeho to express their support. Several mentioned sending scientists to Earth to study the human-dog relationship more closely. Subin found Taeho as the crowd began to disperse. Your position in the council has changed dramatically, Ambassador Kim. Thanks to Dengi, Taeho said, patting the German shepherd's head. No, Subin said. Thanks to what she represents, a different kind of relationship between species, not based on dominance or utility alone, but on mutual benefit and something else I still don't fully understand. Love, Taeho said simply. We love our dogs, and they love us back. It's not something easily measured or analyzed, but it's the foundation of our bond. Subin seemed to be trying to process this concept. Your species continues to surprise us, Ambassador Kim. I look forward to learning more. As they walked back, To the Earth section, Taeho reflected on how quickly things had changed. 3 months ago, the aliens had laughed at humans for keeping pets. Now they were studying dogs as examples of successful interspecies cooperation. But there was still much work to be done. Not all species were convinced. The Vorn in particular remained skeptical and potentially hostile. And Commander Drav's absence from the council session was concerning. Taeho had a feeling that the true test of the human-dog partnership was yet to come. 2 weeks after the announcement of the Interspecies Cooperation Initiative, life on Harmony Station had settled into a new normal. The Earth section was busy with visitors coming to learn about dogs, and plans were being made for similar programs on Earth itself. Taeho was working late in his office when the station alarm suddenly blared to life. Red lights flashed in the corridors and the emergency system announced, "All personnel to safety zones. Unknown vessels approaching." This is not a drill. Dengi was on her feet instantly, alert and focused. Jinwoo rushed into the office without knocking. "Sir, we need to evacuate to the central hub," he said urgently. 6 ships just appeared near the station. They're not responding to hails. Taeho grabbed his emergency tablet and followed Jinwoo into the corridor. All around them, station, personnel and representatives from various species were moving quickly toward the designated safety areas. "Do we know who they are?" Taeho asked as they hurried along. Jinwoo shook his head. "No markings we recognize, but they're using some kind of jamming technology. Communications with council ships are disrupted." They reached the central hub, a large fortified area in the middle of the station. It was designed to withstand attacks and could be sealed off from the rest of the structure if necessary. Already, hundreds of beings from dozens of species were gathering there. Director Yoon stood on a raised platform trying to maintain order. Commander Subin was beside him, coordinating with security teams. "Ambassador Kim," Subin called when she spotted him. "Good, you're safe." "What's happening?" Taeho asked. "The Hive Mind Collective," Subin said grimly. "We thought they were contained in the Orion sector, but somehow they've reached this part of space." Taeho had heard of the hive mind in security briefings. They were a species of insect-like beings that shared a collective consciousness. They had attacked several outer council worlds in the past, but never anything this central. "How did they get past the defense network?" he asked. "We don't know," Subin replied. "But they've already landed boarding parties on levels 3 through 7. Our security teams are engaging them, but..." She hesitated. "But what?" "The hive mind has psychic abilities. They can confuse and control most species, at least temporarily. Our teams are having trouble maintaining focus." As if to confirm her words, a group of security officers stumbled into the hub. They looked disoriented, several bumping into walls as if they couldn't see clearly. "They're in our heads," one officer gasped. "Can't think straight when they're close." Director Yoon looked grim. "We've sealed all access points to the hub, but if they break through our defenses..." Taeho thought quickly. "These psychic abilities, do they work on all species?" "To varying degrees," Subin said. "Some are more resistant than others." "What about non-sentient species? What about dogs?" Subin's eyes widened with understanding. "They might be immune. The hive mind targets conscious thought patterns. Animals with simpler brain structures might not be affected." Taeho turned to Jinwoo. "Get all the dog handlers together. Now." Within minutes, Taeho had gathered all 7 Earth handlers and their dogs in a corner of the hub. He explained the situation quickly. "Our dogs might be immune to the hive mind's influence," he concluded. "If that's true, they could help guide security teams through affected areas and locate hidden infiltrators." Officer Lee with his boarders. Kali Miso nodded firmly. "Miso can find hidden targets better than any scanner. If these hive mind creatures are hiding, she'll find them." The other handlers voiced similar confidence in their dogs' abilities. Taeho turned to Director Yoon and Subin. "We need to split into teams. Each dog and handler paired with station security. They can help your people stay focused and track down any infiltrators." Director Yoon looked skeptical. "These are not combat animals." "No," Taeho agreed. "But they're loyal, brave, and smart. And right now, They might be the only ones who can see clearly when the hive mind is near. After a brief discussion with the security chiefs, the plan was approved. 7 teams were formed, each with a dog handler, their dog, and 3 security officers equipped with stun weapons. The priority is finding the hive mind leaders, Subin instructed. Cut off the head, and the drone soldiers will become disorganized. Stay in constant communication, Director Yoon added. If you encounter heavy resistance, fall back immediately. Taeho checked his comm device and looked down at Dengi, who stood ready at his side. Ready, girl? Dengi's alert posture was all the answer he needed. The teams deployed to different sections of the station. Taeho's group, with Jin Woo and 2 station security officers, headed for the Environmental Control Center. Intelligence suggested the hive mind might target it to alter the station's atmosphere. As they moved through the corridors, they saw signs of fighting, damaged walls, broken equipment, and occasionally the chitinous remains of hive mind drones. The air feels strange, said one of the security officers, touching his head, like pressure building. That's them, Jin Woo said tensely. They're trying to get in your mind. Dengi showed no signs of discomfort. She moved confidently ahead, sniffing the air and scanning their surroundings. Suddenly, she stopped, her body tense, her eyes fixed on a ventilation shaft above them. She's found something, Taeho whispered. Just as he spoke, the grate of the shaft burst open. 3 large insect-like creatures dropped to the floor. They were nearly 2 meters tall, with multiple limbs and compound eyes. Their chitinous armor gleamed under the emergency lights. The security officers raised their weapons but hesitated, their movements becoming uncoordinated as the hive mind's psychic attack hit them. Can't focus, one gasped, his weapon wavering. Jin Woo fought against the influence, managing to fire his stun weapon. The blast hit one of the creatures, slowing it but not stopping it. Taeho felt the pressure in his own mind, strange thoughts and images trying to override his own. He struggled to remain clear-headed. Dengi, however, showed no signs of being affected. She darted forward without hesitation, dodging the creature's grasping limbs. She didn't attack directly. She wasn't trained for combat against such large opponents, but she barked loudly, moving in and out, distracting them. Her actions gave Taeho and Jin Woo precious seconds to focus. They fired their weapons together, taking down one of the creatures. The dogs are immune, Taeho shouted into his comm device. Repeat, the dogs are not affected by the psychic attacks. Let them lead. All across the station, the other teams reported similar findings. The dogs were the only ones who could function normally in the presence of the hive mind. They alerted their teams to hidden enemies, led confused security officers through affected areas, and in several cases, directly engaged smaller hive mind. Was in the Environmental Control Center, Subin was cornered by a massive hive drone, larger than the others. It had her pinned behind a console, its psychic attack preventing her from using her weapons effectively. Taeho's team arrived just in time to see the creature advancing on her. Dengi, protect, Taeho commanded. Without hesitation, the German shepherd charged. Despite the drone being 3 times her size, she launched herself at it fearlessly. Her teeth found a gap in its armor near a joint, and she held on tenaciously. The creature thrashed, trying to dislodge her, but Dengi refused to let go. Her attack gave Subin the chance to recover. The commander grabbed her weapon and fired directly at the drone's head, finally bringing it down. That's the commander drone, Subin gasped. The control node for this section. As if to confirm her words, the remaining drones in the area suddenly became disorganized, their movements erratic. Similar reports came in from the other teams. With the dogs helping them locate and target the commander drones, they were able to disrupt the hive. Mind's coordination. Station security forces, working with the council ships that had arrived as reinforcements, managed to repel the attack. 3 hours after it began, the last of the hive mind vessels was disabled. In the central hub, Director Yoon called an emergency council session. Today, we witnessed something unprecedented, he told the gathered representatives. The hive mind's psychic attacks have always been our greatest weakness against them. Yet today, We found an unexpected ally in Earth's companions. He gestured to the 7 dogs and their handlers standing at the front of the chamber. These dogs proved immune to the very attacks that crippled our trained security forces. Without them, we might have lost Harmony Station today. Commander Subin stepped forward. I owe my life to one of these creatures. She looked at Dengi with newfound respect. To one of these partners, she corrected herself. A vote was called, and within minutes the Galactic Council unanimously approved full membership status for Earth. Perhaps, Director Yoon concluded, we all have something to learn from those we too quickly dismiss. The true measure of an advanced civilization is not how it treats its equals, but how it regards those it could easily dominate. As the council session ended, Taeho knelt beside Dengi and scratched behind her ears. Good girl, he whispered. Who's the best diplomat in the galaxy? You are. Dengi, unconcerned with galactic politics, but always attentive to her humans, happiness thumped her tail contentedly against the floor. The aliens who had once laughed at humans for keeping pets now lie